Film Club.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Film Club. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Harrison, and with me, as always, it's Andy Donaldson.
Hello.
Every week in Film Club, we invite you along to watch a film with us, and this week we're taking a look at a Bronx Tale.
A coming-of-age story set in the Bronx where we have a young, naive kid, C, and his kind of learning of life. He's what he has to go through the streets. He's next door to a mafia. You've got his father, who's a working-class man. He's also got his own love life, and he has to learn quite deeply what life is about. It's brilliant. I recommended this film after seeing a clip, the craps scene, which is brilliant towards the start of the film.
Yep.
I was going through Goodfellas clips and I saw the craps one. I thought, this is brilliant, where they're shooting everyone in the toilet, and I was laughing my head off. And I thought, you know what? I'm sure someone mentioned, go and watch A Bronx Tale. It's De Niro's debut film. And I remember it being on our list of films to watch. So I thought, let's just watch it. Let's just do it. Let's just go for it. And I'm so glad we did. I had so much fun watching this. I can't believe I've not already seen this before, because this is right up my street. And the story behind it is even better. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I think this is absolutely brilliant. So, it's the first film that Robert De Niro ever directed. One of only two, I believe. And I think that he's clearly picked up a lot from Scorsese, but also he's not entirely defined by it. He's not just trying to mimic him. I think there's a lot of confidence in it. I really appreciate that he casts himself particularly against type, sort of. He's still playing an Italian American, but he's not casting himself as the gangster. Instead, he's casting himself as the guy in the neighborhood who is, adamantly, vehemently, definitively against the gangsters. I think that a lot of the story here, written by Chaz Palminteri.
Yep.
It's written by him, but it's based on his one-man show, which is apparently this autobiographical one-man show that he does, which again is based on a lot of his life and a lot of the people that he knew growing up. I think all of that is the heart and soul of this film. I don't think that it's necessarily this exquisite example of filmmaking prowess, but it doesn't need to be. It's got exactly what all films are desperate to have, which is heart, personality, and a really sort of compelling cast of characters that tell just a fundamentally solid story.
It's stunning. It really is stunning. And me and you absolutely loves in Film Club coming of age films. But in this, we have a kid who is genuinely naive, who genuinely has two fathers that are trying to tell him to become a better person. Not necessarily don't be like me, but they're saying you don't go down that dark path that you can see is right in front of you. And you just have this lovely story of him wanting to go for the ultimate thing in life, which is a relationship. You have these kind of gang troubles, you have racial issues, and he's seen through that to see what he wants, which is the girl. And I really enjoyed that. That was the ultimate theme that they were trying to pull through. And I love how Chaz Palminteri has put himself into this film. I think part of the issues of people to actually do his films, he wanted to play Sonny, the guy he looked up to, the mafia boss. He wanted to play him instead of C himself. De Niro put himself as the train driver, who's a bit more of a reserved back role, as he said. And even then, a good shout out to the kid as well. Francis Capra plays a younger Calgero, and then Lilo Brancato Jr. plays the older, the teenager Calgero, C, who I believe is in Sopranos.
Is he really? Because, funny enough, while I was watching this, Catherine Narducci, who pops up in Sopranos, is in it. And I like you said, I've literally just finished watching it. The show that I watched before that was The Wire, and then seeing Dominic Lopardiso pop up as well from The Wire, I was like, oh my God, this is the nice little accidental trend that I've stumbled onto here.
Yeah, it's just everything's coming together. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you described this film earlier. This film absolutely ejects heart into the soul of the film. I really enjoyed seeing that kind of sense of neighborhood.
Yeah, all that personality is exactly what a lot of films strive for, and this just has it in spades. It's exactly what makes it stand out as something that is so clearly personal, and it's so clearly based on somebody's genuine experiences, because it's got so many little touchstones, so many little references. It's very clear that for Chaz Palminteri that this is a film that meant the world to him because it's his story. It is about him. It's about the people that he grew up with. And can I tell you one of my favorite little anecdotes about this that perfectly encapsulates it for me?
Yeah.
De Niro and Palminteri, they were struggling to find somebody to play Eddie Mush. And they were sort of racking their brain about who they could cast Freddie Mush, and they sort of tried casting a couple of people. It wasn't working. And eventually De Niro turned around to Palminteri and went, can we just get the actual Eddie Mush?
No,
And
no,
he was
no,
like,
no.
maybe. So they went back to the same neighborhood that he knew him in, where they
No,
found him still losing bets apparently,
no.
and they cast him in the film, and then they started joking that Eddie Mush was going to jinx the film. And the little cherry on top, on his first day filming, it rained.
Mate, that is, I'm baffled talking to you right now that that performance of Mush was the real Mush, because that fantastic scene went to the race course of going, Kryptonite, go on, Kryptonite, yeah, Kryptonite, oh, you can do it. Oh shit, Mush has got the same horse. He's like, go on, Kryptonite, go on, like this. It's a stunning performance by everyone, especially Mush. And that lovely bit at the end where C looks over, he's like, oh yeah, thanks a bunch for that. He's like, oh, what did I do? And earlier on, where Mushy's in the toilet and everything, it's stunning. It reminded me an awful lot of that bar scene where they're going, Goodfellas, like, oh, here's Sonso, here's the eyes, here's Jimmy two times. He's like, take the papers. It's really cool how everyone has their own intricate personalities, and you see that come through. You see that sense of family, that sense of neighborhood come through in these characters. Yes, Mush is an unlucky person, made it rain the first day, yet they went back and got the original Mush. It adds more to that layer of neighborhood.
Yeah.
That is probably the best film club anecdote I've ever heard.
One of my favorite parts of this is the sort of little integration of doo-wop into the background. They use it as this like diegetic version of a soundtrack
Yep.
occasionally,
When they're in
where
the school.
when they're in the school and there's the doo-wop guys late on the night underneath the lamppost and stuff.
Yeah, at the
Not
end,
only
yeah.
does it have a really good sound that sort of juxtaposes some of the violence that's going on, but it
Yep.
is again representative of people coming together in a community. It's just it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. I think it's a really lovely aesthetic touch. Obviously, towards the end of the film, we get into some more direct examples of racism. There's the scene right at the end there where there's the Molotov cocktails that are getting thrown back and forth. Now, normally that's a really difficult subject to tackle, especially in a mature way. You know, often it comes off as either taking one side over the other. But one of my favorite things about this is when Caligaro's actually in the car and he's sort of like, you know, he's getting pressured by his friends. He's sort of feeling really nervous before Sonny comes and takes him away. He's in this environment where there's loud music. They're sort of getting angry. They're getting the cocktails ready. And
Yeah.
what I love is that he uses in a very subtle, very cinematic manner a great way of underlining the absolute, just ridiculous, horrible nature of this racist act. He uses this moment to have them play Jimi Hendrix in the background.
I noticed that. I was thinking, it's not even in the background, is it? I think that has it on the radio. You're talking about diegetic sounds. And I was thinking, these idiots, these kids, these naive kids that are just fueled by silly hatred they have, don't even realize what they're doing.
Exactly. Is there a better way than summarizing the naivety that often informs racist tension? Because those kids aren't angry at someone because of the color of their skin. They're angry because of like a whole bunch of stuff that they do not understand. And they don't even understand to the point that the music they're listening to, the stuff they like, is produced by somebody who is black.
Yep. It was a really stunning use of music, that. I'm so glad you picked that out.
I mean, if you want to take it to an nth degree as well, it's Jimi Hendrix doing All Along the Watchtower, which is based on a Bob Dylan song, and the fact that it is white and black living together in itself anyway.
That's it. It's a stunning film. It is a stunning film. And what I really enjoyed about it is what I was saying at the start. Whilst it did get violent towards the end, it was C seeing his way through. It was C looking past beyond the racism, looking beyond the mafia, looking beyond the violence. And all he wanted was the end goal, which is the girl, which is Jem.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, was that Joe Pesci at the end?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, just to make it feel even a little bit more like Goodfellas.
Ah, stunning. I love that. That was a nice little touch.
So yeah, there's a Bronx Tale. I think that actually it's maybe one of the best gangster films, or maybe one of the most underrated gangster films of all time.
I would agree.
But there is a Bronx Tale. You can let us know what you thought of a Bronx Tale down in the comments below. But Andy and I are going to be back once again next week, where it's time to get festive with A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Cheers, guys.
Until then, get watching.